What's up, people? I am back for another video. Today, I am reviewing the Stepfather remake, and man, I gotta say it sucks. I think fundamentally, it's one of the. It came out at that time. This was like 2009 when there were a lot of remakes. There were some good ones. Obviously, My Bloody Valentine, even the Friday the 13th remake were both that year, and I really like those movies. So I was willing to give it a chance. I'm not one of those like all remakes are terrible. I mean, apparently the guy who made this made the um Prom Night remake, which I actually like for a PG-13 remake. It's decent, So I was like, all right, this one is just, to be fair, a lot of movies in 2000, I would say like 2007, 2008, 2009, even a little 2010, they shot in this weird filter where it almost did not look cinematic. It looked like a TV show, just upscaled a little bit. But it really, like, a lot of movies did not look cinematic. It had this weird filter they shot it on, and I'm like, it's something I've noticed. The problem is, granted, in this one, it's not Jerry Blake. The killer's name is like Grady Knight or something. And in this movie, it's David. That's the name he uses as the fake name. I mean, it starts out like the original. He cuts his beard off and he kills his family. Obviously, they don't make it as violent like they did in the original. In this one, it looks like he poisoned them, and I think maybe he choked one of them. Because there's a shot of him, like, I think it's supposed to be him attacking his daughter, and it looks like he's like strangling her. And I will say the one positive, I do like that they make it, because in the remake in the original they do mention he killed other families, but they do go more into it in this one. But other than that, I mean, they even like mention America's Most Wanted, which was a big show at the time, so I thought that was kind of cool. But that's where my positive stopped. For the problem fundamentally is the killer. The guy who played David just did not work. What made what made Jerry Blake work and why Terry Quinn in the original worked? He was charming. He played like a normal guy. He seemed like a normal dude. You know what I mean? Like, he seemed like he could just be a passing guy who was charming, and that's why he was able to fool so many people. But in this, the guy they got, I'm sorry, just really felt like I'm gonna say it, he looked creepy. He looked like you would not trust this motherfucker alone. Like, the eyes, he looked demented. And I'm just like, the whole point is he was supposed to look unsuspecting. That was the whole point, and that's what made Terry Quinn in the first two work. And I'm just going to say it. The first two got going. You got into it pretty quick. I felt like with this one, I just could not get into it. There was not a point where I'm like, I'm into it. There was points I was just zoning out. I didn't care about the son character. I'll be honest. Susan was the wife. That's all I remember. The mom was just there. The son, I don't remember. I'll be honest, I do not remember a lot of names from this fucking movie. Him and his girlfriend. There's a scene where it's supposed to be intimidating, where he puts his hands because the son's like this angsty kid, right? So the mom wants him to lower the volume, and he refuses. So he comes in, and it's supposed to be like him threatening David, threatening the son, but it just did not hit. I think for one, it was just too slow. I felt like there was just a lot of portions of the film where just nothing was happening, and I'm sorry, man. I thought this was gonna be well made. Like, I really wanted to like it, but he is. I saw someone mention this when I was looking like this movie. Is the movie that kind of came out the same year as this, but honestly kind of had a similar premise. Just the only difference is is this the It's not a dad or a stepfather, but Orphan. Orphan came out the same year, and in a way has a similar premise. You know, this woman is posing as a daughter, you know, and gets in, to the family, and I thought they showcased, and I mean, obviously, it's not exactly the same premise. Obviously, it's a daughter instead of a father or stepdad, but I really think the idea is kind of similar. This person who's like a serial killer or did some crazy shit gets involved in his family. And I think that film shows that better. I think the other problem I had with this, too, I really did not like how they don't really mention one of the motives for Jerry Blake in the original was he was attached to his family. He wants the perfect family, and if he feels like something is any kind of wrong, he kills them and moves on to the next. They don't really harp on that in this one. It's almost like a secondary. It's there, but it's almost like it might as well not be because they don't really make it a point. And I'm just gonna say, I think the other problem is the guy they got to play David. He looks like a guy who eternally looks like he's just about to snap. I think that's the problem. He looks eternally like he was gonna go postal. Like he has that look like, dude, this dude can go postal right now, and that's why it didn't work. The whole point was with why Terry Quinn in the original worked was because he seemed normal. Yeah, there were his moments he goes unhinged, right? Kind of starts talking to himself, and when things don't go his way, especially when he got confronted in the end of the original. But largely, when he's himself, he's like the love of the town. The town loves him. The first and even the second one really showed that. Like, he fooled the town. He didn't just fool the family. He even fooled the town. He's beloved. He's almost a celebrity. Everybody loves him, and even like the first one especially really shows that. And I really feel like in this they don't show it at all. Besides, like maybe the mom. That's the only thing. It should have been if the son wants. You're gonna have the son be this kid, because you know what it reminded me of. I don't know if y'all have seen the movie Disturbia, where the guy's the sex his neighbor, but the neighbor everyone else doesn't believe because the neighbor's so good. It reminds me of that. I don't mind that idea if you're gonna do it with the son in this one, but it should have been maybe like even like the entire family, not just like his mom. Like maybe he has a sister character. She likes him, a little brother character, and the little brother likes him. And he's like the only one out. So, and basically, I'm not going to go too into it. Obviously, the son finds weird things, and that's why things don't add up. The neighbor, and the kills too, are just very. I understand this isn't like Friday the 13th or Halloween or even Nightmare on Elm Street where you're going to get crazy kills. I understand that. But, because even in the original and the second one, the kills aren't really anything crazy, right? They're relatively normal. But I still felt like there was some uniqueness to them. There was a bit of blood. But because it was PG-13, the kills in this I found were very just, I don't know, they were kind of boring. Like, he kills an old lady, he throws her down like the stairs, and he basically covers her mouth so she chokes. Then I think one kill, he kills a dad with the ex, Susan's ex, who's the dad of the son. Because he finds, I mean, and I thought this scene could have been good when the father, the actual father, confronts David about putting his hands on his son, because there's a scene he puts his hands on his son and basically kind of threatens him a little bit. And that was the problem. This scene didn't work because you could already tell there's something up with this guy. I think that is fundamentally, no disrespect to the actor they got. He's probably not a bad actor. It's just, I don't think he fits in this movie. I think the whole point of what, I know he's not Jerry Blake in this. I know it's a different name. But it doesn't work either way, because the whole point is what made Terry Quinn work was how charming he was. He didn't just charm the family, he charmed the entire town. And I think that's what made it work. And then the fact in this, you don't have that. This dude just looks like eternally he's about to snap. This dude eternally looks like he's just about to go postal. The face he makes, and I get it, that's probably just his face. I'm not trying to be mean, but he literally looks like he's eternally going to look like he's about to go postal. Dude does not look normal. He wouldn't be someone you'd be like, you buy this guy as a secret serial killer because you could be like, no, he's not keeping a secret. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. You would see this guy be like, yeah, there's something up with this guy. That's why it just doesn't work. There's nothing charming. I mean, not even just that. I don't really feel like his performance, he stood out, really. He just kind of just was there. The way he delivered lines, and Terry Quinn was so great because he was charming and charismatic and showed multiple sides. You know, when he's normal and charming, and then obviously there's those moments where he has like almost like the real him, where he kind of snaps, especially if things don't go his way. He just freaks out, and I think they try to show that in this, especially the part where he talks to the mom, talks to Susan about her son, but I don't feel like it really shows it. He's just there, man. Like, that's what I mean when I said I couldn't get into it, because for me, if you can't get the killer right, this film was never going to work. Terry Quinn is what made those first two work. Let's be real. You know, the other characters were fine in the first and second film, but Terry Quinn is what made those movies. Like, let's be real. And I felt like you could have had that here if you got the actor. I think Dylan. His name's like Dylan something. And if he, I don't know if I blame him or if I blame the writing or if it's both. You know, because the movie just never got going, because I feel like he never got going, when fundamentally that's what made that first, and I would even say the second Stepfather. Actually, I've said it. I think I like the second one a little bit more. Terry Quinn made those films. He is the heart of those films. Like, if we're gonna be real, a lot of the side characters are just there, right? Like the family in the first and the second film for me are just there. Terry Quinn is what made them. But even then, and that's what makes this one just the opposite. It's just I couldn't get into it because the actor never got going. Like, I felt like, because if he never got going, the story was never gonna get going, and I was just not interested. So he kills the father, makes it look like the father left, and then he ends up killing son's girlfriend, Jackie. That's her name, was Jackie. He kills her by drowning her in a pool, which was just like, eh. The final act is kind of all over the place. Like, the mom and the son fight him off, and he seemingly escaped. And I get what they were going for, but the ending is just so random. Like, he wakes up in the hospital. Okay, I think I remember the son's name. I think it was like Chris. Yeah, like some basic ass name like that. I think it was Chris. And I didn't care for Chris at all. I found him kind of boring. I found the mom boring. The girlfriend. The dad was okay, or Susan's ex, but he was just there. Like, none of them. The movie just didn't hook me, and I think that's what it was. You know what it felt like? Not as bad, but it felt like the Psycho remake, in the sense of it was just soulless. I felt like there was just no soul, no jolt of energy, nothing in this film. This film was just, it was very boring, I would say. I don't think it had anything going for it. Not even like cool cinematography. And I understand a movie like The Stepfather, even the first one, didn't have crazy cinematography, but it just, those first two movies, it had something about them. And obviously, Terry Quinn is what made him. And when you fundamentally miscast the killer, I like the idea of them using America's Most Wanted, because that's an actual show, and it makes sense to have it tie into him killing his family and that he's a serial killer. Because they even mentioned he's done other crimes, But I just feel like when you see the guy, I don't buy how he could fool all these people. You could look at him like, yeah, there's something up with this dude. And I think that's a big one, but also the families they were just there. It was PG-13, so a lot of the kills were just, and I understand The Stepfather isn't like Friday the 13th or Halloween, where it's not about the kills. It's not really. Like, because the kills in the first one and the second weren't anything crazy, but they still added a purpose. I felt like the kills in this don't really add anything. Besides, like, the only death I felt like added to the plot was really, I guess, when he killed, Scott's dad. Yeah, and Susan's ex, but that was it. The girlfriend's death didn't really matter by the end. Um, so if I remember right, it ends with him seemingly getting taken out, but he wakes up in the hospital. And I don't know if they were trying to do a sequel tease because they tease like he meets another woman in her family. So it seems like he's kind of getting ready to do another get into another family. But the problem I had was it was a bad sequel tease because we didn't care. It just no one. Well, I was just ready for this to end. Thankfully, I will say this movie didn't drag. It ended pretty quick, but I didn't care for it at all. It had no heart, and that's the thing. Like I don't mind remakes. You could be a good this time they're working. I mean, that same year, Friday the 13th remake and My Bloody Valentine remake were a thing. You know, obviously it wasn't the same year, but Hills Have Eyes. I love the Hills Have Eyes remake. The Texas Chainsaw remake. Those at least the first three. Not necessarily. No, even the Friday the 13th one. Those are cases where I think the remake is better than the original, in my opinion. And I think you could be a good remake, but this was just bad. And it's weird because the person who made this apparently made the Prom Night remake, which I thought was okay. Not great, but I thought it was all right. But granted, I don't think Prom Night's that great either, the original. I think it's all right, but it's not to write home about like that. But yeah, so the Prom Night remake was all right. So that's what I was hoping. At least this would be all right. This wasn't. You didn't care. There was that sense in the first two films where you wanted the family to find out for their sake because you wanted them to live, right? In this, I just did. I didn't care either way. Susan had the personality of a wet blanket. So did Scott. So did his girlfriend. I think there was a sister character. I don't know. Like a younger sibling. I think they were kind of a terrible character. And I think what sucks is because David wasn't a good character, the film didn't work. Because, like I've mentioned it throughout the review, that Terry Quinn is what made that original and the second one work. Is how charming he was, and he was able to fool the family in the town. So it was almost fun to watch as in the mystery of it. Even though he's the killer, so it's not a mystery in that sense where you don't know who done it. You know who did it, but you kind of want the other characters to find out. And I just didn't with this one. This one I was just like, all right, and let's keep it coming, keep it going so we can wrap this. It was just kind of boring and soulless. That's probably what I'm going to title this video, boring and soulless. That's what I would title this video. Because I don't really think there's a lot to it, man. And, yeah, I don't recommend it. Just watch the first one and the second one, and that's it. You can watch Stepfather 1 and 2. I've never seen the third one. I don't think I will, because I saw some pictures of it. It looks cheap as fuck, and it's not even the same actor. So why watch it? So just watch Stepfather 1 and 2 as a duology. No need to watch this one. Unless, I'd only watch it just if you want to complete, the Stepfather, if you want to call it franchise. But if you want to complete the movies and just see them all. But honestly, just watch the first two. That's the only ones I'd recommend. This one there's nothing to it. It's not even decent like the Prom Night remake, you know what I mean? So out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10. It's bad. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not good either. Very much do not plan on watching this again. I'm only going to watch the first two. And that's it. The Stepfather 1 and 2, and that's where I stop. So I don't recommend this, but if you're going to watch it, I guess watch it just so if you want to watch the remake. But I didn't feel like... I didn't really feel like this movie was anything special to where I feel like you need to watch it. I guess the only thing I would watch of it is maybe watch the opening, just so you could see how compares to the original, but that would be it. I don't think I'd watch anything else from this movie because I'm just gonna say it. There just isn't like even if like at least if David's performance, and it's not like he was a bad actor. I just think he was miscast, or I don't know if that's his fault, or if more the directors didn't know, like didn't want to take what made the original good. I don't know what it is, because not that David necessarily is a bad actor, and I think he could work as a killer, but he needs to be a killer we know is a killer, but there's no like mystery. He's just the killer, and we know he's the killer. Like even the other characters, because I think that's what didn't work. We're supposed to buy this guy as fooling everybody, but when you look at him, and he just isn't charming, because I found like I think the other problem was he was just kind of bland. The way he said lines, even lines where he's supposed to come off, like the scene where he's snapping at Susan about her son, not cooperating, and not, oh, she needs to be a better mother and all that. That was like supposed to be him like snapping, and I didn't feel it, man. Like compared to where, like in the first movie where Jerry, basically this is where he gets caught and is talking to the wife, and the wife finds out, and that moment where he snaps, you almost, it's more believable. Like I can be like, oh man, Terry Quinn's actually kind of scary, like because he starts off so normal and then he gets scary. I don't think it was supposed to be a scene like that in this, and it just did not hit the same. So yeah, guys, this was bad. Not the worst thing in the world. Like I'm not angry at it. It's just this is bad. So, plan is, I haven't found a Screen Rant article yet. There's a potential one, but it's not like, I'll just say it, there's not a lot of woke shit in it. It's just dumb shit, normal dumb shit. So I might still do it. It's all like 10 harsh realities of the Friday the 13th franchise. So that might be one I might be doing. For now, I'll just put it in there for now. I might change my mind. I'll see what else I can find. I'll look up some stuff. If I do it, it'll probably be Sunday. I'm just going to straight up say it. I don't know if I'm going to do it tomorrow, because I might be doing stuff. I know Mara has a stream, and then I got my stream, Pin Down stream, which, subscribe to Pin Down Podcast. We just actually did our SmackDown review tonight. SmackDown was pretty decent tonight, so subscribe there. That's up, and then tomorrow we should be doing our normal stream. And then, I'm going to be doing stuff throughout the night, too. So I probably don't know. I might try to do it tomorrow night. I'll see how I'm feeling. But if not, Sunday night. Definitely Sunday. I'll do Screen Rant is gay. I'll try to find one. If not, I'll do something else. But anyways, guys, let's get ready to wrap. 3 out of 10 is what I give this fucking movie. It's pretty bad. It's boring and soulless, so. Like a bad remake. It missed like the point of the original. The whole point. I start wrapping it here. Just gonna go on a little rant about. I just feel like the whole point of why Terry Quinn worked in the original is he was so charming and charismatic. He had a little bit of charisma about him, and I just think this guy did it. And also, just like I said, he doesn't look unassuming. Alright, you see this guy, you're just be like, yeah, this guy looks like there's something up with him. And that's why it just did not work fundamentally. They missed the point. So, this is a bad movie. Not the worst thing ever. Like I said, it's not the worst remake ever, but it's not good either. Anyways, guys, ready to call it here. Alright. Tomorrow's Screen Rant is gay. Tomorrow or Sunday. Talk to y'all later. Subscribe to Pin Down Podcast. Peace.